Welcome back to AM Northwest. A new true crime docuseries unravels the decades-long mystery of a rumored serial killer believed to have murdered dozens of women, including 3 of his wives. In My Killer Father, The Green Hollow Murders, a 3-year investigation by filmmakers unearths the secrets buried within a family and in the wooded hills of Iowa. Here to share more, we welcome award-winning filmmaker behind the new docuseries, Aengus James. Good morning, Aengus.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me on.
You bet. It took 3 years to do this investigative reporting, but tell me why you were inspired to follow this story.
Well, it's an incredibly powerful story.
Yes.
If you can imagine someone, trying to tell people for years what they saw their father do, and no one believing them. And so, we felt really compelled to follow this. And in addition to, she has 3 stepsisters who have always believed that their mother was murdered by Donald Studi. And then the backdrop of this is that in and around this place of Green Hollow, Iowa, there has been this like boogeyman story for years where people have had rumors of a killer living there. So everyone in and around this area heard sort of rumors about this story and always had known this guy to be a really violent, bad guy.
Well, and the girls too. So the women who believe their father was a killer, and one who says she helped him bury some of his victims in the well that you show there. But there's also one sister who says no, he wasn't a killer at all. She's got it all wrong. It is a fascinating story of family dynamics and also true crime. I mean, it is absolutely incredible. So let's start with Lucy. She's not the woman that says that she knows her father killed people. She is a kind of a character, but because in some ways she is hard to believe.
Yeah, she's been through an incredible amount of trauma.
Yes.
So I think one of the things you know is, from someone who's been through a lot of trauma is that, and all of us, our memories are not always,
Nope.
Necessarily accurate. So we have different memories and recollections with our siblings all the time. I know with my siblings, we can have stories that we're saying, no, that never happened.
Exactly.
And my other saying, that did happen. So yeah, this is sort of the most extreme version of that, where one daughter is saying that her father was terribly violent and killed multiple women, including 3 of his wives, and the other sister is saying, my dad was an amazing father.
Yeah.
And was wonderful.
But people who grew up there also, as you mentioned, have boogeyman stories about the area. The alleged murderer is Donald Dean Stuckey, and he was not a nice guy. He did assault people and rob people and was a big gambler.
Yeah, he was known in this area as an incredibly violent person, someone who was really sort of emotionally removed. His mother was a prostitute, known prostitute. His dad was, decades older than his mom. There was a lot of abuse in the family. His siblings were all violent. They were known as sort of a people you'd really stay away from.
What is interesting to me, well, there's so much that's interesting. First, just so much, really. You did an incredible job on this docuseries. You really did. Let's also talk about the sheriff's department. Is it incompetence, or is it that they feel like the case has been investigated and enough is enough?
I think there's 2 different answers to that question. So one is, the police department today, right, which is different than the police department then.
Yeah.
So what we really focus on is the case back then. And the case back then, it's hard to say. We had an FBI agent, Stuart Fillmore, look at this, former FBI agent, and he said, but his words were that this is either sort of incompetence or collusion.
Yes.
And he doesn't know which, but it's very clear that one of those 2 things happened. This Donald Dean Studi's wives, were mysteriously dying. No one really looked into that. There were rumors and allegations that Don killed other people. These things were never seriously investigated. There's a 612-page FBI report on him that remains sealed, that takes years and years to get released. So there's a lot of mystery surrounding it. Now, today, I certainly would like to see Omaha PD do more, but I don't believe, I think today is a question of resources, right? They have a lot of work to do. There's active stories. Don's dead. So, I don't know how seriously they're taking it. I wish there was more to do, but I also really understand the pressures of law enforcement and all they have on their plate.
Well, and then you have an interesting guy who says he helped or was asked to help a man move a body during this time, and he actually believes that that Dean is Donald Dean is a serial killer.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the most interesting breaks in the case, right? So we, investigated this for years, and we truly, for part of this, we did not know what to think. But one of the
Yeah.
most shocking things to come forward is someone who first came forward off camera. Obviously, you could understand someone's reluctance to be on camera, who had a hand in carrying the body of a young woman, but he did ultimately agree to come forward because he wanted to clear his conscience, and he had held on to this secret for years, and he has very vivid memory of being approached by Donald Dean Studi. He was sort of down on his luck at his time of being offered some money to help carry the body of a young woman into the woods, and where he brought us to where that body was, just up that hill, is exactly where the well that Lucy always said that the bodies are in.
Do you feel good that what you did may accomplish something very important in solving these crimes?
Yeah, and I think that our main goal was really to help get clarity for the victims
Right.
of the abuse, right? So this is the daughters of this, who the stepdaughters who've always believed their mother was killed.
Yes.
There are other past wives and other, you know, mothers of children that he fostered who had come forward off camera with us and told us that Don was incredibly abusive and that they always believed they were lucky and they think they were the ones that got away. I think for Lucy, who's the daughter who really came forward, to be believed, um, it's very stressful to not be
Yes.
believed.
Yeah.
So for her to be believed and have us take her claims seriously. So I think we answered certainly some of the questions with respect to the family, but there are many open questions that we really do hope law enforcement would take up, including other missing persons that have some connection to
Yeah.
Don Stewart.
Absolutely. Incredible job. We want to tell our viewers the three-part docuseries, My Killer Father, The Green Hollow Murders, is streaming now on Paramount+. Aengus, thank you so much and excellent work.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. We'll be right
Appreciate
back
it.
with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.